First thing I gotta say is wow, there are over 200,000 of you who decided to subscribe to this channel. That's awesome. Thank you for all the people who like anime that decided to be a part of this community. I really genuinely appreciate it. God bless you.
Give me some sensu beans, yeah, I need to regenerate. I'm about to go off like I'm the Avatar state, and I can say.
So after a bunch of top 5 videos for anime, I decided why not make a top 10. I mean, top 10 is what the people want, right? And you'd think we'd go for something like Crunchyroll to start off the top 10s, but everyone seems to want to find out what's best on Netflix because their catalog is a bit cozier since Crunchyroll is just the mega giant now with infinite anime. Now, right before this list gets underway, remember all these anime are based on what's available for me in North America. If one of these aren't on your Netflix, then you're probably not in North America. It would be pretty much an extreme to go through every single region of the world to see what's on your specific Netflix. And 2, this list is based on super reliable statistics, aka my opinion. And lastly, have I seen 100% of all anime on this list? No, not 100%, but I've seen a lot. Feel free to put your favorites in the comments section below, but
don't do it!
At number 10, it's A Silent Voice. Yes, this list starts off with an anime which takes the form of a movie rather than a show. This movie works to take you through an emotional and mental roller coaster that will end with you examining your own life and mental state. Yeah, that really happens. There are a few anime that have actually made me cry, and hey, maybe that'll be its own list, but boy, this one right here genuinely had me shedding tears. It deals with a middle schooler who thought it was funny to make fun of this girl in school who is deaf, leading to others to follow him, yet all his friends end up betraying him, and he grows up with the mental trauma of that, eventually meeting that deaf girl again when he's in high school, and a super heart-touching story ends up happening until the very end of the anime movie. It's just insane. Be mentally prepared when you watch this. And even with me saying that, you won't be mentally prepared, just letting you know. But this movie is just fantastic. Number 9, The Promised Neverland. Season 2 of this anime may have gotten fans mad with it rushing the ending of the series, but Season 1, which is the only season on Netflix on its own, is such a good story that will most likely cause you to be unable to not binge the show in a single day. A bunch of children of a bunch of ages all living in a single house with a single caregiver, and none of them actually know why they're kept there or where they go when they're quote unquote getting adopted. The smarter the characters are, the longer they're allowed to stay immature. Ray, Norman, and Emma, the 3 smartest children, discover more and more about where they live and how scary their futures are, and they plan a way to escape with every single child. Watching the points of view between the genius emotional thinker Emma, the completely logical thinker Ray, and Norman, who is in between, is pretty awesome when you keep on wanting to know more of what exactly is happening in this place and what's going to happen next, and if they'll even be able to actually fulfill their plans.
You four-eyed bull-face! Who are you calling a four-eyed bull-face? Shut up! I don't give a damn how hungry you were! In this house, there's things you never do! Huh?
Number 8, Blue Exorcist. There's a teenager named Rin Okumura who was raised by a priest in a church and one day ends up in a situation where another boy is possessed by a demon, and the effect leaves him with the ability to see the spiritual realm of the world. He ends up in an academy where he's trained to fight demons, where his twin brother is actually the teacher, and he got his ability to see the spiritual realm by coming into contact with Rin, who turns out carries the genes of their devil father. Carrying these genes gives him blue flames and transformations to use to exorcise demons, and that's where you get the name Blue Exorcist. I'd say this anime is so underrated. You like the characters, feel for the story, especially the ending of season 1, and you just want things to keep on going. It's super interesting of a world. If you like anime like My Hero Academia, you'll probably like this one.
Guy, why? Kill. 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 Kill.
Number 7, Sword Guy. Sword Guy is one of those anime where you really feel like you're watching an anime, and that might sound confusing, but what I'm saying is it gives off that tone that Western animation doesn't really do. But in the anime, there are what they call cursed weaponry, and what that basically means is there are weapons possessed by demons. Shout out to Asa, Sword from Black Clover. But in Sword Guy, these weapons allow you to transform into something called a Busoma, which kind of looks like a mech, but it's not. The thing is, the demon inside your weapon is really going to want you to kill people and is going to make you become insanely bloodthirsty, and eventually the demon will just take over your body. But there's a company called the Shoshidai who allow you to slow down that process so you have more time in your life before you get possessed. The catch is you basically become a mercenary for them, and also in order to slow down the process, they put you to sleep in a de-aging liquid, and they might even keep you asleep for decades, so you'll come back home and see your friends as old people. Trust me guys, this show is awesome, and just know, yes, Guy is probably the best character, but once you meet the character Sheen, no, he will eventually arguably the best character too. Number 6, Ajin Demi-Human. This show is very awesome, and anyone who watches anime on Netflix definitely should check this out. It deals with people called Ajins, and basically if you are an Ajin, you just can't be killed even if you try to kill yourself. And the only way for you to ever know if you are an Ajin or not is if you end up in a certain circumstance where you clearly should be dead, like being shot in the head or getting hit by a car and having your body completely tore up. But if you are an Ajin and people find out, then be prepared to be hunted down and experimented on very painfully. Not to spoil much, but Ajin can produce a being called a black ghost that emulates their personalities and fights for them, but they also have a range of powers like paralyzing people with a scream and much more. Trust me, this anime is really awesome, and I'm sad to say that it only has 2 seasons. Wish it had more, but it's just so good, and you do get a full story. Check out the anime. Number 5, Demon Slayer. Do I even have to say anything about this anime? The one anime that if it wasn't on the list, people would go crazy. In fact, people are probably going crazy because it isn't higher on the list. But hey, it made the top 5, the most popular anime in the world right now and the biggest moneymaker. Even with my YouTube intro that has a bunch of different anime characters, the most recognizable is Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, where sometimes it seems a lot of people who comment can't even recognize many of the others. Well, that just hurts my heart. But Demon Slayer deals with a boy named Tanjiro who lives in the woods where his entire family gets killed by a demon, with the exception of one sister who gets turned into a demon and almost kills Tanjiro, but then she almost gets killed by a demon slayer who happens to send Tanjiro on a journey to be trained to become a demon slayer himself. Everyone knows this anime has arguably the best animation of any anime show right now. Its last season being perfect movie quality animation. They know what they're doing over there. If you haven't watched this show and are into anime, well, that's just weird. Just watch it, you won't regret it. At number 4, we have a pretty popular anime on Netflix. It even got its own completely terrible live action movie for Netflix, and of course that is Death Note. And if you haven't watched the anime and only watched that piece of garbage, boy, you need to immediately start watching the anime. This anime is arguably one of the greatest anime of all time for any platform. Of course, this anime isn't exclusive to Netflix, however, many used Netflix to be introduced to the show. For those that don't know what Death Note is a show about a boy named Light Yagami, who receives a book called the Death Note and is guided by a Japanese god of death named Ryuk, simply because Ryuk is bored and Light uses this book, which can kill anyone simply by writing their name in the book and picturing their face. For his goal of shaping the world in his image, he does all of this crazy stuff that you'll see once you watch the show. Okay, for number 3, we're going into controversial territory simply for the fact that this anime happens to be one of the most popular in existence, and if something is popular, I don't know, people tend to want it gone. But it's on the list, and that's Naruto, and also because it's popular, people will be mad that others are higher than it on the list, but it's number 3. Yes, Naruto, in my opinion, is one of the greatest anime of all time. It's about a kid who is isolated in his village because he has a 9-tailed beast that lives imprisoned inside him that almost destroyed the village 12 years before. He wants to be the Hokage, which is basically the lord of the village, and for that to happen, he has to become a great ninja. And through awesome action, story, and a bunch of other stuff, we see his journey, and we also see Rock Lee, who my YouTube self is half made in the image of, the other being Todoroki from My Hero Academia. I think my intro told you that much. But this show is one of the greatest of all time. If you haven't seen it, see it. And at number 2, we have one that, come on, many of you guys have to agree with, and that is Attack on Titan. Yeah, I like Attack on Titan more than Naruto, sue me. This anime is just, well, amazing. Most people say masterpiece, but it isn't over yet, so I guess we'll hold off on that word. It will be soon though. A civilization surrounded by multiple walls goes a long time without any attack from giant human-like beings called Titans, but one day they break through the wall of a city and massacre so many and eating them. And honestly, for these shows, I don't really want to say much for the stories because you just have to experience it yourselves. When I first watched this show years ago, I didn't know what it was about and was blown away. So you just watch the show. It's fantastic. Now for number 1, a show that many people mistakenly say is my favorite anime online, and once they find out that it's not, they ask continually what my favorite anime is. But hey, I've answered that question before, so go ahead and find out that answer on this channel. But at number 1 for the best anime on Netflix, which is available in most regions for Netflix, that is Hunter x Hunter. Oh wait, I forgot to say the X. That is Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, this is my second favorite anime of all time and tells the story of two 12-year-old boys named Gon and Killua, who go on a journey to become hunters, which is much more complicated than it sounds. They get powers and all of that, and just don't get stuck on the first episodes thinking this is childish. It gets dark real fast, and man, just amazing and emotional this series is. If you want to see what the top 5 best anime originals on Crunchyroll are, make sure to see that one right here on the channel, as well as other top 5 anime videos on the channel. Check them all out. My name's Konjik, and I'll talk to you in the next video.
And I can say that I'm great, yeah, I can say that I'm perfect. I ain't the one that was out here saving lives, I was purchased. Now we about to take you out if you try to act toxic. I'ma send you straight up to my main man, Konjik.